Hey, Camille in the studio, Birds here with another pattern tutorial. This one is for a new book in my shop called Knowing Home, and it is a lift the flaps book. So it has lots of little flaps with a different part of a poem. So you can pick this up on my shop. There's 4 pages of illustrated directions, as well as the pattern that we're going to be putting together today. And as an extra bonus, I put in a empty blank template that you can draw your own book and put that together too. So to do this, we're going to need a few simple materials. The only thing you're going to need is 2 pieces of board for the cover, and then your general things to put things together. Scissors, or you can use a blade. I like to use a blade and a straight edge, Teflon folders and a bone folder, and then some sort of glue, whether that's PVA or a glue stick. So today we're going to be doing a pretty easy beginning pattern. This pattern has just a few simple folds in it. Pretty easy to put together, just a little bit of glue. So let's start. And to begin, we need to score some of the folds that we'll be making later, and this just makes everything fold a lot cleaner and more evenly. So we're going to go ahead and score those folds, and I just like to use a straight edge, and the folds are marked with dashed lines and labels, and you just set the straight edge up against those dashed lines and then go over it with your bone folder. And I like this bone folder just because it has more of a point to it. You don't want anything with a sharp point, but something with a dull point, like the handle of a spoon possibly, or just a regular bone folder. So go ahead and score all of those lines that you see here, and I've already done that, and then we're ready to cut it out. So I've done some cuts already, and just be really careful with this. This is just a relaxing craft project for you to put together. There's no reason to rush. Just enjoy it, put on some nice music, and just go through each of the steps carefully and have a good time. So I'm just finishing up these last few cuts, I mean. Now the top part of one of the pieces in the book has a curved edge, and some people can use this blade and be able to cut that, but I don't have any problem with anyone using a pair of scissors. Now we're going to tack these 2 together, and you'll notice the piece on the bottom has the yellow tree and it has the words, so that's what the flap will be revealing when we lift the flap. So we're going to tack these 2 together using this section here, and you can feel and see where you've scored your line, and so you're going to want to put the glue below that line in this section. So I'm just using a little bit of PVA. Oops. And going to just tack those 2 together with just a thin layer of glue in that section. Okay, now we're ready to put the 2 together, and you want to line up so that the trees sections are lined up, and then this edge that you see here is lined up with this edge. So I'm just going to set that on there and wiggle it till I get it just right. Up on that side. It might take a little bit to get it just right. It's worth the wait to get it in the right place. Just using my fingers. There. And then I like to just use this Teflon folder to just burnish that glue down. So now we're ready to fold the text block, and that part's not too hard at all. So we're going to start with the top section. I like to call these kind of the arms of the tree, and we're just going to fold in. So we're going to fold in starting here, and I'm just using my fingernail to kind of press against those two scored folds, and then I'm just going to fold that over, and the scores are what helps us make that a nice clean edge to that fold. See that? We're going to do the same thing on the other side, and I'm just going to kind of help it a little bit with my fingers there because I fold it over. I'm just kind of leveling it as I get it before I press it down. And then the top, same thing. We've got that scored line, and so we'll just fold right down on that scored line. So there's the top section folded. And then the bottom section is a little bit different. We're going to fold in with the words here first. We're not going to fold it to the front though. We're going to fold it to the back. And I'm just going to flip it over and line that up. Make sure it's nice and even. I'm talking about even with this line here. And then we're going to do the same thing with the other side. We're going to fold that to the back. And we'll just flip that over and line that up. And then press it. So there you have it. That is almost all just to make this type block. So the last two folds are to fold on this scored line here towards the center. And then we have our book pretty much done except for just folding it together. And so here, this section here, this little area here, is going to be our spine for the book. So we're going to fold it over, and you'll notice that the pattern is a two-sided pattern. So there is something on the front as well as something on the back. And so now we're ready to do the cover. So here's our text block, and I like to put that under a weight or something like that, why I do the cover. Here's one of the covers. Let's do the other one. And this is just a simple cover that you printed from the first page of your directions. And we'll just go ahead and glue it on. I'm just using some PVA here that works really well for covers. Putting a thin layer. Placing it on the back of the cover paper. And then in order for you to do the flaps on the back, I just like to cut off the corners. And I do that so that the corners, this flap when we pull over and glue it, there's not all the bulk in the corner. You'll notice that I am not cutting all the way up to the edge of the cardboard. I'm leaving just a little bit of space about the thickness of the board between the tip and where the corner is. And then I'm just going to apply a little glue to the turn ends, these flaps that I'm going to fold over. I like to put the glue on the cardboard as well as on the flap. And then we'll just fold them over. I use my fingernail. You could use a Teflon folder if you'd like. I press it to the cardboard that I've put the glue on and then fold it over. And you want to do this for all four sides. I use my fingernail to kind of press down here so it gives it a nice corner. Brindle and Chloe are chirping away in the background. They're enjoying this. They always like to hear me talk. So now we'll go ahead and put the cover on the book. You want to set your two covers side by side the way that you want them, the front and the back. And then you want to open up your book and you want to place it this way. This is going to show you how that cover is going to be in the book. You want your spine to be right here. So we're going to go ahead and start. I'm going to fold it over and put glue on that surface, just a thin layer of glue. And then I'm just going to set that, center that onto the board, but you want to cheat it over towards the spine a little bit. So I have more space on this side than I do on the spine side, just so it opens smoothly. Let me use my folder there. Press that down. And now we're ready to do the other side. And so we're going to put glue on this side. And we want to push that cover right up next to the other one, get that placed right, and then we'll just flap this back. And there I have top and bottom. And then we can fold it over. And there's our book. Do it on both sides. And there you have it, a lift the flap book. And you can see why it's called a lift the flap book. You open the book, and then you open the flaps, and then you open these flaps. Actually, let's open these flaps first. Shamed and cold, we stumble alone in the dark of our broken expectations. Stop running and be still. Feel the light, a fire within, warm and bright, welcoming you home. And that's the poem for the book, Knowing Home. Thanks for stopping in and watching. We've had a big snowstorm here, and so it's been a great time to be indoors and to do some more indoor types of things. I hope you have a chance to do something like that this week. You can check out more of my patterns in my Etsy shop. And from Camille and the birds, thanks for watching.